Douglas Cardinal, I know it's not good to follow a dog act. But I was just seeing them getting a little restless there and thought I should change the program a dot. Thank you so much. And thank the dogs, too. They're beautiful dogs, beautiful dogs. Douglas Cardinal, the third of our architects.
I really enjoyed watching Frank Gehry and Moshe Safdie's work. It's just beautiful. It's great to be here on the same program. Architecture is such a marvelous, marvelous profession. I mean, it is a wonderful opportunity to bring people's dreams into reality. We have that wonderful opportunity, and I've had that wonderful opportunity for many years. So I wanted more, though, to not talk to you as an architect, which a profession I dearly love. In fact, sometimes it engulfs all my life and my personal life. But I wanted to share with you another perspective of another paradigm of thinking. And so I brought, because I wanted to share something with you, I brought my medicine bundle. And so I wanted to talk to you, not as Douglas Cardinal, the architect. I wanted to talk to you as Manakanabi, because I wanted to share with you some of the knowledge and wisdom of my people. And that is that I am Manakanabi. I'm from the Blackfoot Confederation. I'm a member of the Kenai people, the many chiefs. My people are Plains Indians. They lived here thousands of years. In our prayers, we talk about all those four-leggeds that gave us life, those with their horns this way and those with their horns this way, which were the mammoths that were here. Unfortunately, they are gone. So I come from a long lineage, and that is expressed in the medicine bundle that I have. My people believe that we are these magical beings. Us human beings are magical beings. Because we have this power of creativity. We have the power to create anything we wish. We are luminous bodies. We can recreate ourselves. We're spirits or life forces clothed in flesh. And we have this marvelous capability to evolve, to grow. And how do we evolve and grow? By first of all, we become hunters. And in hunting, we learn that we have to be at one with every living thing to survive, because we chose to not live in cities. There were many people, the cannibal people, that created big vast cities in the Americas. But they ruled with power and with tyranny, and we did not want to live within the comfort of their cities. We'd rather choose to live in the plains where we would be free warriors. But that meant that we had to survive a very harsh environment. In order to survive a very harsh environment, we had to learn to be at one with our environment. We, the Blackfoot, we did our agriculture through fire. We did not want to hurt the earth. We did not want to turn up the earth. We didn't want to leave scars on the earth. Fire is a natural thing on the plains. In fact, the University of Alberta created a study, and they found that the fire method we used for our agriculture produced more biofood than all the modern methods in plows and everything else. So anyway, we chose to work with nature and be a part of nature. We and nature were one. When we became hunters, we realized that we had to be at one with the deer. We had to understand the patterns of the deer, that we and the deer were one. There were our brothers. The bear were our brothers. All of these creatures that gave us life, we had to be at one with them. Because when we were at one with them, they would feed us. And we developed this relationship with all the animals. We could communicate with every animal because we lived at par with them. And we understood their patterns, we understood their ways, we understood the weather, because that was the way we had to survive. We had to become one. Then, in order to evolve, we realized that we had to defend our territory, but at the same time from tyranny of others. So we trained ourselves as warriors. To train yourself as a warrior, you have to learn that you have to be patternless. Because when you're a hunter, you knew that you could always trap the animals because they had patterns. But to be a warrior, you had to be totally unpredictable because you didn't want to fall in your adversary's traps. So you learned to be a warrior, to be totally unpredictable. And in your warriorship, if you were a worthy warrior, you only rode into battle to fight the tyranny of others. And the challenge was then to become a fearless warrior to defend your land and your territory. So then there was a series of ceremonies and rituals and everything you went through. Because you were on a path of knowledge, the first thing that you had to conquer was your fear. Because it is your fear that keeps you from being able to be a knowledgeable person. It's your fear that keeps you small. We are these magical beings. We have this power of creativity. We all have this wonderful power. But what keeps us small? What keeps us small is our fear. We're afraid to really take responsibility for the power that we have. The power that we have, this creative, magnificent power that we have. It is our fear that keeps us small. And that is the first challenge that we have to face is our fear. So our elders, they put us through rituals so that we understand that that we are luminous bodies, that we go through the rituals where we face our death and go through the other side and are pulled back by the elders, so that when the elders take you back, they say, "Do you fear death?" And you say, "No, I don't fear death. When I faced my death, time stopped. My whole life rolled back. And And I saw all the things that I did wrong and the people I hurt. And I also saw how I had wasted my life. I was given this greatest gift, this precious gift, life, and I barely used it. I wasted it. And when I came to the Creator, I had not evolved as a creature because I wasted my life. They say, do you fear death? No, I do not fear death. I'm just afraid of not living right. Death is a transition. The fear is not living a full life and not using all the potential and the creativity and the glorious gift that we have as a human being. That is what I fear. Then the elders say, then you're a fearless warrior. So you ride into battle and you become a fearless warrior because you're not afraid to die as long as you live right. But when you ride into battle as a fearless warrior to defend the tyranny that imposes itself upon you by your fellow man, you also, as a warrior, have to seek tyranny. Because how are you going to grow? How are you going to evolve? And as you challenge yourself with another human being, you have to seek the petty tyrant. The great tyrant is a great spirit. He can take your life, your luminous body, and your spirit. To defend the tyranny that imposes itself upon you by your fellow man. You also, as a warrior, have to seek tyranny. Because how are you going to grow? How are you going to evolve? And as you challenge yourself with another human being, you have to seek the petty tyrant. The great tyrant is a great spirit. He can take your life, your luminous body, and your spirit. The little tyrant is a man that can take your life, but he can't take your spirit. The petty tyrant, the small little petty, puny tyrant, is someone who can take all your goods. And the little one, like bureaucrats, they can only give you a headache. So what are we afraid of, you see? What are we afraid of, you know? When you walk with death, then you're afraid of nothing. Death walks with you to your left. Death is here with me. It's to my left. I embrace death. It is my friend. Because when it's here, I realize I have no time to fuck around. And that's the problem. When you realize that when you ride into battle and you take on the tyrant, whoever that may be, that the elders say, when you kill your tyrant, or in this day, kill his career, or whatever you do in this Cold War that we have with ourselves, what do you feel? Does that help your soul? When you take the life of another person or hurt another person, does that help your soul? Does that make you feel like a human cannibal? Are you a true human being if you ride into battle and you take somebody's life for territory or whatever? Does that make you feel like a human being? Or does it make you feel like less than an animal? Do animals kill their own species for territory or gain? No. A human being that kills for territory or gain is not even an animal. Animals do not do that. They don't kill their own species. Only cannibals do. We human cannibals, we kill our own species. How do you feel as a warrior taking somebody's life. You feel you're not a human being if you take somebody's life. You ride in a battle and take somebody's life. You're not a human being. So, you have to evolve. Once you learn that, you have to evolve past that. You have to be a spiritual warrior. How do you train yourself to be a spiritual warrior? The spiritual warrior of the plains rode in a battle with coup. Not with the tomahawk, with coup. The first warriors that rode in a battle rode with coup. You would touch a vulnerable part of the enemy and say, I kill you. I could kill you. But I spare your life. You're a husband. You're a father. You're my brother. I will put my life on the line in trust to my adversary, to my enemy, to be a human being. Because when you ride into battle with trust, with honor, to be a human being, then you're a spiritual warrior. Because you're a human being when you do that. So, my elders, my ancestors, were the spiritual warriors that rode into battle with coup. And that's what I have been trained to do by my elders. That is walking with trust and facing another human being. That's entirely different culture, entirely different background, entirely different history. Somebody that inside yourself as a human being that you fear. But you walk in trust. Because to say, I trust somebody until they're distrustful, therefore I distrust them. You're not walking in trust, you're walking in distrust. You just need a reason to prove that somebody's not trustworthy because you want to protect your ass. You walk in trust. And if somebody harms you, then it's a mistake. You know? So, it's a challenge to do that. But it is the path that I have to follow because that is my path. That's what I've been trained to do on the Sundance and the Vision Quests and the ceremonies. How does that apply? You see, also, I've been trained as a shaman by the elders because my lineage were medicine people as well as the spiritual warriors. You know, the cavalry didn't understand when we rode into battle with coup and they slaughtered us. When you slaughter a spiritual warrior, that's shame for the other side. But you still have to battle. You still have to show that you're human, that you're a human being, no matter what is facing in front of you. After all, it's just tyranny. And to face tyranny and deal with tyranny is how we'll evolve. But a spiritual warrior realizes that really the ultimate tyranny that he faces is not his fellow man. The ultimate tyranny he faces is the tyranny that he finds in himself. Our greatest enemy is ourselves because we're not taking responsibility for who we are. We leave that responsibility to others. What we do is we have this magnificent power of creativity, that magnificent power to make a difference. And what we do is we give that power to other people who misuse that power. when you become a fearless warrior, then you become powerful. And what happens is when you become powerful, you're seduced by that power. Then that's the next challenge. What are you going to do with that power? Are you going to use it to harm others, or are you going to use it to empower people? People that need power, all these people that want power, give me your votes, give me your power, I'll lead you, I'll run your life. All the institutions that want power, give me the power. They have all failed us. Because, in a sense, anybody who wants power is powerless. He needs your power because he's powerless. Are you going to trust a powerless person? Are you going to trust Napoleon, who, is half a man who needs a 17-hand horse to feel like a full man? There's so many Napoleons. There's so many Hitlers. There's so many Mussolinis. There's so many Francos. We made them because we weren't responsible for our own power. Power is something that you don't need, you give away. You empower others. It's not anything you need, because if you're powerful, you give it away. And if you're able to give the power away and support the power in others, then maybe you'll be an enlightened being. That is what the elders teach. I feel that there's so much knowledge that we, people here that have lived thousands of years on this land, have to give the dominant cultures that are here. But we are, in a sense, unable to do so because we are made into a powerless minority by the dominant culture. And also, it's because it wasn't the time to do it. We don't want to be a part of the agrarian culture that has been around for 15,000 years, where people lived in pyramidal systems. That made us, were we going to reduce ourselves to insects? We don't want to be part of an industrialized society that ripped up Mother Earth and polluted the environment. This is our time. We want to be part of the information age because we have so much knowledge and wisdom to offer. We have so much information to give the world. I am the grandchild of all the ancestors that came before me. I am the grandfather of all the ancestors, all the grandchildren that'll come after me. Within me is the past, present, and future. All I have to do to find all the secrets of the universe, like Einstein did, equals mc squared, or anybody, all the secrets of the universe are within ourselves to unconceal. But we have a history and a knowledge to give. But we want the opportunity to give it. I know I was asked to do the last site on the mall in Washington, and which was the National Museum of the American Indian. They said that for the first time in 500 years, that Indian people will be able to tell their own story, interpret their own art, interpret their own history, and tell the story of their own people. For the first time in history, that we will have a voice on the mall, that we will be able to tell our own story. So, the people said, an opportunity. It is our time to maybe share our knowledge in history ourselves, not be editorialized by the dominant culture, but to tell people who we are. I was asked by the people to enter into competition for the project. We won the commission, the last site on the mall in Washington, in front of Air and Space, in front of the Capitol building. And I said, the only way I'll do this commission is if all the elders of the Americas came and they would have a vision for the project. The elders came, and from all over the Americas, we sat in a circle. The first time they said, how can we be here? We feel so much pain and suffering, all of our people. So many millions of our people have died because of this place. But let's take them at their word. The first thing we have to do is forgive everybody, because we cannot bring the beauty that is inside us. We can't share the beauty that is inside us if we carry with us our pain and our anger and our frustration. So we all have to forgive, because that's the only way we can make a contribution. So let's create a place where we'll show our contribution, our knowledge, not our pain, but our contribution, our history, and share ourselves, our heart, our spirits. Let's do this. And here, this will be a place where we will be able to show the true knowledge and history of our people and the soul of our people. So, we worked for years with all the Indian people. We worked with years with the people in Washington. And everybody we respected. We respected everybody's culture, everybody's mandate. The Fine Arts Commission, the National Capital Commission, the architect of the Capitol, all the Smithsonian institutions, and everybody. We respected them. That was my job, to bring that vision into reality. And for the first time in Washington, we won unanimous approval to proceed to construction of the vision of the elders. But what happened? Oh my God, these Indian people are going to be able to carry their vision out. The whole establishment and culture is designed to ensure that everybody manages our affairs. There's departments in both countries that are designed to manage our affairs, because we, our children, we don't have any credibility. Somebody has to manage our affairs. So they took and they say, oh, we have to have another architect. We have to have another team to carry out his work, because, after all, he's Indian. Indians don't know much about technology, whatever. Doesn't matter, I did the Museum of Civilization. But it is that thinking that we had to deal with. So then they take it and they interpret my work. And I then decide, the elders say, you must keep your word to us. So we complete the project through people financing us to actually complete our construction drawings and the models and everything else. Meanwhile, they have another team that they trust more than us, to actually carry out, literally, my unique signature of architecture. So, I, at the time, finished my work, presented to the Smithsonian, say, how about a real interpretation of my own work, not a forgery? They didn't want that. So they trashed me to a point where I had to call in all my team of 30 years and say, I'm sorry, I have nothing more. I have no resources, nothing. I have nothing. I have to go back to Canada, and you're all a great team. You're the A team. You can get your jobs there. So I come back to Canada, and with the support of my people, I was able to reestablish my firm here with my son and all his colleagues, his age. And a year later, this forgery is presented to the Fine Arts Commission. The Fine Arts Commission says, oh my God, this isn't what we approved. This lacks the interpretation, it lacks the soul, it lacks what the vision of the elders. What are we going to do? This is not art. This is designed by committee. So they called me up and said, you must come back. You must come back and show all your models, your drawings, your computer. I mean, you've done all the thing on the computer in 15 decimal place, every stone, everything. You've done the whole thing. We want to see what this project should be, your interpretation of your own architecture. So I thought, do I have to go back to Washington again? But you have to continually trust. So then the team presented the forgery of my work to the Fine Arts Commission. I presented my work to the Fine Arts Commission. The Fine Arts Commission said, yes, that's what we want. We want that. That's the building of the ages for our mall. Not this building here that belongs in a shopping mall. They unanimously rejected. But all the establishment in Washington, all are very concerned. What they do is they say, well, all of his designs and models and everything he presents to the Fine Arts Commission is a matter of public record. So as a matter of public record, what we're going to do is the only way we're going to get approval of the Fine Arts Commission is if his work actually gets before the Fine Arts Commission for the approval to proceed to construction drawings and to tender. We're going to have to do a better copy. So what they did is take all my work that we presented there and they gave it to the architectural team to do a better copy. And they wanted the approval of the Fine Arts Commission because the Fine Arts Commission only concerned itself, of course, what was presented to them, not how it got there. So it's a real challenge because I lost everything doing the project. But you see, I'm not victimized by it because I'm a warrior, not a victim. And I knew exactly what I was getting into. I rode in a battle with coup. And I had to trust if it meant the destruction of my career and my team. The sad thing about it is all the people that I've worked with for 30 years, we'd love to get together. And we will someday. But for now, it's a real challenge. So the thing of it is, of what's lost is all the language of that building and the language of the elders and the visions of the elders that came and made that signature structure as the last site on the mall. That came out of here, not from me, but from that magical gift that my grandfathers and grandmothers gave me, that marvelous gift we have with each one of us that is not really ours. It is something that is a gift that's given to you. That's what's lost because it's going to be a fair, awful interpretation of the project on the mall. But I'm sharing that story with you because I'm still going to ride in a battle with trust. How I will be able to do that is we have to tell the story. And even though they blocked all the media because of the power they had of the Smithsonian is the Supreme Court Judge Rehnquist. The second head is the Vice President. Whatever. But we do have the internet. And it's wonderful sharing this with you. And indeed, my elders have made a commitment to open their culture to everyone, because it's our time to be able to add knowledge to the rest of the human family, my brothers and sisters. Thank you.